I'm going to give you some more facts about my story.
Can you tell me again the story of your great-grandfather coming out?
He joined this wagon train in 1853 that was headed to California. There were 200 wagons, 800 to 1,000 people. All those people, and going all the way across the plains in uncertainty, they all were pretty well armed with rifles and guns, and mainly their weapons were, as I understood it, to protect them from first snakes, interestingly enough, then other animals, and then Indians. And most of the Indians they ran into were friendly groups. Some were not. And actually, my great grandmother, who was not married to my great grandfather at the time, but was on that same wagon train, was blonde and 18 years old. And a couple of the Indians were trailing the wagon train, wanted to buy her for 6 sacks of corn. And that happened. They tried to do that several times. They didn't succeed. Periodically, the wagon train had to circle all the wagons, get all the animals and the people inside because these Indians wanted to steal whatever they could, including a few people. And they did injure a few people. I think one thing they found on part of the trip was herds of buffalo that provided great food for them, but apparently that was in those days probably the main meat source for Indian tribes. The Indians were unhappy about the wagon trains trying to take their food, so that caused them to be more aggressive and again caused some injuries and concerns among those people. Then in 1857, they were married in Half Moon Bay. Andrew Bailard rode his horse down the coast again and found Carpinteria.
Do you know what type of Indians or Native Americans that they came across?
Tribe of Comanches or tribe of Kiowa may have been two of the tribes that they ran across on the plains.
Do you know whether they had been displaced from the place where the wagon train ran into them, or whether that was originally their home, or what the situation was?
Um, my guess is that when they ran across these various tribes, those were near the homes of those tribes, and the tribes were trying to probably protect their tribes and families from foreigners coming through their area and taking their food, such as the buffalo.
Do you feel it was wrong of them to attack the wagon train, or do you understand why they did, or what are your thoughts about that?
I guess thinking about it, I can understand why they did, particularly in relation to the area where the buffalo were, because that was primary source of food. But I think Indians probably felt they could steal some good quality horses or other animals and food because they were always having trouble finding food, some of those various tribes. So I think that may have been part of the reason.
Any thoughts of the reason why they wanted to buy your great grandmother?
I think, I don't know, but I think maybe they thought a nice looking female person, and maybe they might want to take that person as a white person to offset somebody in their tribe, make them have more seniority in their tribe. I'm just putting words together. I don't know for sure, obviously.
Okay. Your great grandfather came to Carpinteria. Do you know who he purchased the land from, and were there any Native Americans that were displaced from the land?
I think it was a Mexican land grant, but he purchased about 500 acres of land in Carpinteria for $13 per acre at that time. And then they had 10 children, so they had lots of agricultural property, primarily beans and walnuts and corn and crops like that, all field crops. Walnuts were trees. But so part of the ranch that my family owns now is part of that original 500 acres from 1868. It was part of a Mexican land grant of a much larger area of land, but this was a portion of that.